The stars outside the observation window shimmered like scattered diamonds, but the human explorer hardly noticed them. He had spent years navigating strange planets and alien systems, yet nothing had prepared him for this world. The air was thin but breathable, and the ground beneath his boots was soft with a strange, moss-like substance that glowed faintly in the twilight. Commander Adrian Blake adjusted the strap of his utility harness and stepped carefully over the uneven terrain. He had heard rumors of intelligent life here, though no human had ever made contact with the planet's dominant species. Reports had been fragmented, mostly from automated probes that described shapes moving in shadows, strange towers, and a series of symbols that defied translation. Adrian had volunteered to lead the expedition not just for the glory, but because humans rarely had the chance to meet truly alien minds. That's when he saw her. She appeared from behind a tall, crystalline formation, her movements fluid, yet cautious. Her skin reflected the soft light of the bioluminescent moss, giving her a faint, otherworldly glow. Her eyes were large and iridescent, like a pool of liquid light, scanning him with curiosity and wariness. Adrian froze. "Who are you?" he asked, keeping his voice calm. He wanted to show he meant no harm. She tilted her head slightly and spoke in a melodic, almost whispering tone. "I am different. Not like human women." The words surprised him, but there was no hostility in her voice, only a cautious distance, as though she had learned to be wary of strangers. Adrian studied her for a moment, noticing the elegance of her form, the delicate patterns across her arms, and the intelligence that shone in her gaze. "You're right," he said softly, stepping slowly closer. "You're not like human women, but you have something special." For a heartbeat, the alien woman seemed to hesitate. Her eyes widened slightly, and she blinked as if processing the meaning behind his words. Adrian had learned to rely on empathy in his encounters with alien species, understanding that words often carried a weight far beyond their literal meaning. He smiled, hoping to convey trust. "I'm not dangerous," he added gently. "I come in peace. I want to understand your world, your life, who you are." The woman's gaze softened slightly, though she still remained a few paces away. "Most humans, they do not understand. They seek to take, to change, to dominate. You seem different." Adrian nodded. "I understand. I want to learn, not control. I want to see the truth for myself." A quiet moment passed, broken only by the subtle rustling of the glowing moss under their feet. Then she spoke again. "Follow me. If you wish to learn, you may see." Adrian followed cautiously as she led him through a narrow path between towering crystalline structures. Each step seemed deliberate, almost ceremonial. The air shimmered with faint energy, and soft hums resonated through the ground. Adrian could feel the power of the planet, not violent, but ancient and aware. They arrived at a clearing where a series of structures rose like delicate spires, seemingly made of crystal and organic materials intertwined. Adrian's eyes widened. The architecture was beyond anything human engineering had ever attempted, blending natural growth and careful design into a seamless whole. "This is where I live," she said. "Not all humans are allowed here. Few are permitted to see." Adrian glanced around, noting intricate carvings and faintly glowing symbols etched into the structures. "It's beautiful, alive. It feels like it's part of the planet itself." She nodded. "It is. My people. We live in harmony with our world. We take what we need. We give back what we can. You humans, you do not always understand such balance." Adrian listened carefully. "Some humans do not, that is true. But some do. I believe understanding comes from respect, not fear or power." For the first time, The alien smiled faintly. It was a subtle curve, almost shy. But it lit up her face in a way that made Adrian's chest tighten. He realized that despite her alienness, the smile carried a universal message: connection. Just as he was about to respond, a sudden tremor shook the ground. The glowing moss quivered violently, and the crystalline structures emitted a soft, warning hum. Adrian grabbed her arm to steady her. "What's happening?" he asked. Her eyes darkened. "Danger. It comes from outside. Creatures, hunters. They sense intruders. They will not understand." Adrian scanned the horizon. Shadows moved in the distance, low to the ground but fast. He had encountered predators before, but something about these figures made him uneasy. They were intelligent, coordinated, and undeniably lethal. "We need to move," she said. "Come. I will show you a safe place." As they ran through winding corridors formed naturally within the crystal forest, Adrian marveled at her agility. Every step was precise, every movement purposeful. She led him to a hidden alcove, a small chamber carved seamlessly into the crystal. Here the air felt warmer, and the faint light of bioluminescent plants bathed the space in gentle colors. Adrian leaned against the wall, catching his breath. "That was incredible. How did you know the way?" "I know this land," she replied. "I feel it. It speaks to me." Adrian nodded, feeling a profound respect for her abilities. Humans relied heavily on technology, on instruments and devices to understand the world. Here was a being who lived entirely in sync with her environment, reading its rhythms as easily as a human reads a book. They stayed in silence for a while, listening to the distant sounds of the hunters moving through the crystalline forest. Finally, Adrian spoke. "I know I've only just met you, but I feel like there's something important here, something beyond danger or curiosity." She turned to him, her gaze intense. "Most humans would not say such things. They would seek to conquer, to possess, to change." "I am not most humans," he said softly. "I came here to understand, and in meeting you, I see there is more to life than I ever imagined. You are unique, extraordinary, and I want to learn from you, not take from you." For a moment she said nothing, and the tension in her shoulders seemed to ease. Then almost imperceptibly she whispered, "You may be different. Perhaps." Adrian smiled gently. "Perhaps I am. And perhaps we can help each other. You teach me about your world, and I will teach you about mine. Together, maybe we can discover something neither of us could alone." A flicker of emotion crossed her face, surprise, curiosity, and perhaps a spark of trust. "You are bold, human. Most would not dare speak so freely. Most would not understand the risk." "I understand risk," he replied. "I also understand value. Your life, your world, they are precious. And if I can help protect them, I will." The distant sound of the hunters grew louder, their movements deliberate. Adrian's pulse quickened, but he felt a strange calm in the presence of this alien woman. She was unlike anyone he had ever met, and yet there was something familiar in her strength and intelligence. "We must wait for the right moment," she said, her voice low but steady. "They will search, but they are cautious. We can slip past if we move together." Adrian nodded, preparing his equipment. He was used to danger, but this was different. He was not merely navigating a hostile planet. He was navigating a complex web of trust, culture, and emotion with a being who saw the world in ways humans could barely imagine. Hours passed, though time felt fluid in the alien chamber. They shared stories, fragmented as they were, of their respective worlds. Adrian spoke of Earth, of humans' resilience, creativity, and sometimes stubbornness. She shared glimpses of her people's connection to the planet, their philosophy of balance, and the subtle powers they wielded through harmony with their surroundings. "You speak with honor," she said quietly. "Not many humans do." "I try," he replied. "And you have something no one else has. You see the world in ways I cannot even begin to imagine. That is why I said, you have something special." Her expression softened, and for the first time she allowed a small, genuine smile to linger. Adrian felt a warmth spread through him. It was more than admiration. It was the beginning of a bond that transcended language, biology, and worlds apart. Suddenly, the faint glow in the chamber dimmed. Shadows flickered across the walls. The hunters had found another path, and their movements suggested they were closing in. Adrian and the alien woman exchanged a determined glance. Without words, they moved together, slipping through hidden tunnels and weaving between crystalline formations. Their coordination was instinctive, their trust in each other growing with every step. Finally, they reached a vantage point overlooking a vast valley filled with luminous plants and crystal towers. The hunters could not follow them here. For the first time in hours, they paused. Adrian looked at her. "We made it. For now." She nodded, her gaze distant but thoughtful. "For now, yes. But this world, it tests those who enter it. You humans are unpredictable. Perhaps that is why I feel curiosity toward you." Adrian smiled. Curiosity is the first step to understanding. And understanding is the first step to trust. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. Two beings from worlds apart, yet bound by a fragile thread of connection. The night sky stretched endlessly above them, and the stars seemed to whisper of possibilities neither had yet imagined. And in that quiet, illuminated valley, Adrian realized something profound. Sometimes, the greatest adventures are not about conquering worlds, but about discovering the extraordinary in others. And in this alien woman, he had found something truly special. The distant hum of the planet reminded them that danger still lurked, but neither felt fear. For the first time, they faced the unknown together. Not as hunter and prey, not as alien and human, but as two beings recognizing the spark of something greater. And that spark, fragile yet undeniable, was only just beginning to burn. The valley stretched before them like a sea of light, its glowing flora swaying gently in the alien breeze. Adrian Blake stood at the edge, watching the luminescent towers and the vast rolling hills below. For a moment he allowed himself to breathe, feeling the relief of having escaped the hunters. Yet he knew this world was far from safe. Danger could return at any time. The alien woman, whose name he still did not know, stepped beside him. Her gaze was calm, but her posture remained alert. "They will search for us," she said quietly. "They are persistent. They do not understand mercy or hesitation." "I understand," Adrian replied, "but we are also persistent. We survive because we adapt. We think, we plan, and we work together." She turned to look at him, her eyes reflecting the soft light of the valley. "You are human, different from the others I have seen. You speak of unity, trust, and courage, and yet you are fragile. I do not understand it fully." Adrian smiled faintly. "Perhaps that is human nature. Fragile, yes, but strong when it matters most. And sometimes, that fragility allows us to connect in ways others cannot." For a long moment, she considered his words. Then she nodded slowly. "Perhaps you are right. Perhaps you have something special." Her voice, though quiet, carried a warmth that Adrian had not heard before. The soft hum of the planet's energy vibrated through the ground beneath them. Adrian could feel it in his chest, a subtle reminder of the world's ancient power. Then let's find a way to use that together, he said. We cannot run forever. We need a plan. She hesitated, then led him through a narrow path that descended into the valley. The glowing plants seemed to respond to her presence, their light intensifying as they passed. Adrian noticed that the energy of the world seemed almost sentient, bending and shifting around her. He realized that she had a connection to this planet that went far beyond mere survival. "Where are we going?" he asked. "To the heart of the valley," she replied. "There is a place where my people channel the planet's energy. It is safe, if we can reach it. But the journey will test us." Adrian followed, moving carefully through the glowing landscape. As they walked, he observed her closely. She moved with precision and grace, her senses attuned to the smallest shifts in the environment. He had faced countless alien creatures, but none like her, intelligent, aware, and completely in harmony with the world around her. Hours passed as they navigated the valley, avoiding natural hazards and the predators that lurked in the shadows. Along the way, they shared more of their stories. Adrian spoke of Earth, of human struggles and triumphs, of hope and resilience. She spoke of her people, of their philosophy of balance, of their bond with the planet, and of the challenges they faced from those who sought to exploit it. "You humans, you fight with your minds and hearts," she said at one point. "You are fragile, yet you endure. You are unlike any being I have known." Adrian smiled. "And you are unlike any woman I have known. Your strength is different but no less real. You face danger, you understand your world, and you protect it with everything you have. That is something extraordinary." She paused, looking at him with a hint of surprise. You speak with honesty. Most humans would not say such things. Most would assume I am like others, or seek to take what I possess. You value me for who I am. Perhaps that is why I feel trust." Adrian felt a surge of warmth in his chest. Trust was a rare gift, especially from someone so different, someone so extraordinary. "Then we will protect that trust, together, no matter what comes." As they approached the heart of the valley, the landscape changed. Towering crystalline structures rose like pillars, forming a natural amphitheater around a pool of pure, glowing energy. The air vibrated with power, and Adrian could feel the strength of the planet radiating from the pool. "This is it," she said softly. "Here, the planet's energy is concentrated. Here, we are safe, at least for now. But we must be careful. The hunters are clever, and they will not give up easily." Adrian nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. "Then we stay alert, and we plan, together." For a moment, they simply stood there, side by side, absorbing the beauty and power of the place. Adrian marveled at the delicate patterns of light, the intricate designs of the crystalline towers, and the sheer harmony of the environment. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, a testament to the alien woman's connection with her world. Suddenly, a movement at the edge of the valley caught his attention. Shadows shifted, and a low guttural sound echoed through the crystalline towers. The hunters had found them. "Adrian," she said, her voice calm but firm, "we must act. We cannot fight them here, but we can use the energy. We can defend ourselves without harming the balance of the world." Adrian followed her lead. Together they moved to the edge of the energy pool. She extended her hands, and the energy responded, flowing around her in glowing arcs that pulsed with power. Adrian watched in awe as she manipulated the energy with ease, creating barriers and subtle currents that would slow their pursuers. "You can do this?" he asked, astonished. "I can guide it," she replied. "But we need focus, trust, unity." Adrian took a deep breath. "Then we focus. I trust you." The hunters approached, their movements quick and calculated. As they entered the valley, the alien woman raised her hands, and a wave of energy surged outward. It created a shimmering barrier, confusing the hunters and forcing them to halt. The energy pulsed in rhythm with her thoughts, reacting to her will. Adrian felt the connection between her and the planet, a living force that moved with her guidance. "Now!" she shouted. "Move with me!" They ran through a hidden passage that twisted beneath the crystalline towers, the hunters struggling to follow. Adrian marveled at her skill, at her ability to navigate not just the physical landscape, but the energy that flowed through it. They emerged on the other side of the valley, safe for the moment, and collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily. "You were incredible," Adrian said, still in awe. "I've never seen anything like that." She looked at him, her eyes softening. "And you? You did not falter. You did not panic. You adapted and you trusted. That is why you are special." Adrian smiled. "And you? You are extraordinary, not like anyone I've ever met, not human, not like anyone else. You are you." For the first time, she laughed softly, a sound that was musical and genuine. Perhaps humans are not so simple after all. Perhaps there is more to you than I imagined." The tension between them eased, replaced by a quiet understanding. They had faced danger together, shared stories, and discovered a connection that went beyond species, beyond worlds. Adrian felt a sense of admiration and respect that was deeper than anything he had known, and he saw a spark of trust and curiosity in her eyes that made his chest tighten. They spent the rest of the night in the heart of the valley, resting and observing the energy around them. Adrian learned how the alien woman communicated with the planet, how she could sense its moods, and how she maintained the delicate balance that allowed her people to survive. In return, he shared more about human ingenuity, creativity, and resilience. And she listened with fascination. As dawn approached, the first soft rays of light illuminated the valley, casting long shadows and making the crystalline towers gleam. Adrian looked at her and smiled. "We made it through the night, together." She returned the smile, faint but genuine. "Yes, together. Perhaps we can face what comes next as allies, friends, perhaps more." Adrian nodded. "Yes, and I want you to know, I value you. Not because you are different, but because you are extraordinary. Because you are you, and I am honored to stand beside you." Her eyes shimmered, reflecting the first light of dawn. "You honor me. I did not expect that from a human, but perhaps I am beginning to understand. Perhaps we are not so different after all." The hunters were still out there, somewhere in the valley. But Adrian and the alien woman felt a quiet strength. They had survived, adapted, and discovered a connection that transcended the boundaries of species. The bond between them was fragile, yes, but it was real, and it was growing stronger with every passing moment. Adrian extended his hand, and she took it, her grip firm and steady. It was a simple gesture, yet it spoke volumes of trust, courage, and the possibility of something extraordinary. Together they turned to face the valley, ready to face whatever came next. The stars still shone above, the planet pulsed with life, and in that moment, two beings from different worlds recognized a truth that transcended danger, fear, and difference. The greatest discoveries were not of planets or creatures, but of connection, understanding, and the extraordinary potential of the human spirit. And as they stood side by side, hands clasped and hearts aligned, Adrian knew that this was only the beginning of an adventure that would test them, challenge them, and ultimately show the galaxy what it truly meant to be human. The alien woman looked at him and whispered softly, almost to herself, "You see me, truly see me, not like others, not as different, but as special." Adrian smiled, his heart full. "Because you are. You are special, and together, we are stronger than anything this world can throw at us." And for the first time, the stars seemed to shine just a little brighter, as if the universe itself acknowledged the bond that had formed, human and alien, different yet united, facing the unknown together, stronger for the trust they had discovered. The valley was still glowing, still alive, still beautiful, and so were they. The night gave way to day, and with it came hope, courage, and a future neither of them had imagined, a future forged in trust, tested in danger, and bound by something extraordinary: the human heart,